There's something very intimate to how bad this camera looks right now. Hello, everyone. I wanted to take a second before this amazing conversation with CoffeeBlack starts to stop and thank everyone who has watched, listened to, shared, done anything in regards to Procrastination Radio over the last 6 years. Um, I feel like conversations like these with people who have similar backgrounds to mine make me really emotional because it kind of has this platform has created an opportunity for me to talk to a bunch of my favorite people who I've known for a long time, who I'm just meeting about the thing that we love, which is creativity and art. And this episode particularly scratched an itch in my producer brain. And I know if you are a producer or if you are fascinated with the process of music creation, you're going to love this one with an amazing talent in CoffeeBlack. And yeah, just feeling very thankful and grateful and wanted to take some time to do that before this episode. So I hope you enjoy CoffeeBlack in conversation only on the Procrastination Radio Show. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Procrastination Radio Show. I'm your host, Ian Complex, and today we are back with another amazing conversation with another amazing creative. Today, we're here with the artist known as CoffeeBlack. How you doing?
Panning, bro.
Good. I'm excited to chop it up today. One, because of the release at Love at First Sight. Amazing project, was running it as I was getting ready for everything, and just kind of since it's been out, want to commend you in school for that. It's just really, really cool and experimental in a lot of really specific ways that I want to talk about a little later. But I wanted to ask you a kind of timely question. I'm sure you know of everything that was going on inside of music recently, specifically with Kendrick and Drake. But I've been thinking about it from a little different perspective, and I kind of wanted to get your insight on it in seeing how you see in your personal music life. Like, do you see a lot of competition, or do you position it as competition? And how do you kind of intake other people inside of the spaces that you also take up?
No, that's a valid question for sure. Because, like, I come from a hooping background, so I'm naturally competitive.
Yeah.
But, like, when it comes to the music, it's like a friendly competition, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely... I don't know. That's like... Because, like, with my music and my mission and shit, like, I'm not trying to be the best producer of all time. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to make shit that I like. But I do like to impress my friends and my peers. I'll say that much. Like, if I get the stamp of approval from them, I'm like, okay, this shit really jamming.
Yeah. How do you think in other ways does like that kind of like ball influence come out in your music? Like, I'm curious because you do a lot of collaboration. So I know that you do think of it as like a team sport, especially with your projects. So how, I mean, I was looking at your Instagram today too. I was just like, you really, and even just some conversation we have personally, like you really are about supporting others and also just having just people working in and throughout your music. So what does that teamwork look like?
Man, really, it usually starts with friendship. Like, if we get along, the music gets made like that. Like, niggas can make 9 songs in a day if we really wanted to. You know what I mean? So, really, it's just about sitting down, 2 people that's on the same page, usually got similar taste. And, yeah, it's very natural flow. Like, there's not too much planning with the way I work, honestly.
Interesting. So, from like the time you get inspired for a tape, and we can kind of talk about Love at First Sight since we're in this now, like what was that process and kind of the timeline from when you got the idea, or did somebody come and pull up like, hey, we should work? Like, what did that look like?
Yeah, so I actually met Scoob at like the last spot that I thought I would see this nigga.
Yeah.
There's this venue in Detroit called Spotlight. It's like a record store, dance music venue. And he was in there just doing a photo shoot, and I just ran down on him like, I really fuck with your music. So he tapped in with me. He actually followed up. It was like, send me some beats. So I sent him some shit, and we made the I Love You song first day. Like we made 3 songs that day, and I was like, okay, I think we got some. That's usually like first time getting up with somebody. If we make some heat, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be fucking with this nigga for a while. So yeah, it was like that. It was just instant chemistry for real.
that's cool. So like in the inverse, when you lock in with somebody who you might be cool with, like, are there any times that you're just like, okay, we are good friends, but we cannot work together because this is just not, this does not make sense.
That definitely be happening. I'll be playing hide and seek. Yeah, nah, I probably need to be more explicit about that now. But I've been trying. But yeah, that does happen. Because sometimes I just want to be a nigga friend. Like sometimes I want to make me. Because I'm really like fucking I'm like picky and selective with how I disperse my creative energy. So like I don't like wasting that shit. That shit kind of annoys me. Because like at the same time I could be working on your sound or helping you out, I could be working on my own music. So if I'm
Yeah,
not passionate about it, I'm not doing it. Like flat out.
that's, I think that's the best way to do it. And I think with talking about sounds, it's, it's crazy you mentioned you from Detroit because I think people who intake music as a whole don't understand how much music, especially influential black music, comes from Detroit. And I was talking to my pops just a second ago. A lot of the gospel music we listen to, a lot of my favorite groups, Commission, and all these different people are from Detroit. And so I want to know, like, growing up, growing up inside of that community of music, how did that feel to them become a part of one of the people contributing to that?
Ooh, damn. I guess I never really thought about that. But it do feel good. Like
Yeah,
yeah, that's why I feel like I was definitely born in this shit. You can feel it in the air when you're out here. Like I'm a church baby myself, so definitely was immersed in it as as a youth. Like and that was always my favorite part of church was hearing the music. Like yeah, I remember like being a little kid going up to the drummer like, what is it called when you hit multiple drums consecutively? And he looking at me like I'm a dumbass. He's like, it's a drum roll. I'm like, all right, I'm writing that down.
he
So
said, "Bad,
I
bad,
was
bad."
just,
Yeah, gotcha.
I was taking everything in for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. And so, did that expand? I know it did naturally, but how did that manifest? Like, were you like just listening to gospel growing up, or was there other influences coming in?
Definitely other influences like Detroit. For some, this random fact, bro,
Yeah,
Young Jeezy is madly loved in Detroit. So like
word.
a lot of Southern rap was in my ear as a kid, like Young Jeezy,
Yeah,
Ti, Gucci, Chingy, like all that shit. Yeah. So and just being at cookouts and like hearing the radio, like you hear all the techno. That's really a Detroit staple too. The techno and the house music. The house music you kind of got to do a little more digging for. You got to kind of know a nigga that knows some shit. But the techno in your face immediately.
that's super interesting because I think it feels almost opposite than what a lot of people kind of have growing up. I feel like a lot of people are introduced to radio, and I think a little more back then. I feel like now it's a different story when you got the internet and different things. Kind of, you can find whatever you want to, but it feels like there was such a diverse group of musicians, every kind of era of music that were coming from Detroit, and I think it's such a cool education. I think it's so important seeing like all these documentaries coming out about these different cities and these different towns producing a lot of this stuff that, I think the educational part of music is so important, especially for somebody like you, because listening to this project specifically, I'm hearing things I'm like, man, I've never heard this like this before. It's like, and if I did, I'm like that. Nah, this is a different take. Or I've never heard this on that. And
Yeah.
so, when you're making that music, are you actively thinking about it?
Yeah, no, my mission was definitely like I want to hear some Detroit niggas rapping on loops. Like that was my mission for sure. And yeah, no, that was very gratifying. Like I was a what's it called? Yeah, I remember Alchemist did that one project with he had that song with Currency and Face on there, Babyface Ray, and I'm like, damn, he beat me to it, but I still feel like I got to get my shit off too, because yeah, like obviously Detroit has its own sound, but I was like, I would love to hear them talk the same shit over the production that I'm into.
it
So yeah,
that it came out so well, and I think I wrote this down as a talking point that I wanted to discuss. I think from a producer standpoint, the way I feel like the beat scene in different places feels a little different now. I think there's more more highlight on kind of the sound of like the loops in different ways. I think I'm just hearing it more. I think recently that Drake project, you had like Overcast on it and Alchemist and different stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. And thinking about the days when like everybody was listening to God's Connect and all these different like
you
real
took me back.
specifics.
Oh
Come
shit!
on, play
Yeah, no,
like us. Like,
you was there. You was
no,
definitely there.
I was in them Reddit group chats looking at everybody sharing the drum kits. I was like, yeah, we go get off some stuff. But it's funny now. I think, like you said, like even for people who were in it, combining sounds that haven't happened is still something that's happening now. And it's so beautiful. I think to see even a different generation kind of attack it in a different way, where I feel like on TikTok now, I feel like the mashup culture is way different than like what we would call like flips. Back in the day, it's like I feel like everybody is just kind of used to it now. Like, okay, cool. Like this is a different acapella on this. Um, and so like, how have you seen? Because your production, like the bag you get in when you produce is so vast. Like, how have you seen your process change as kind of times have kind of gone on?
So really, man, I've been dabbling like back into playing my keys a lot more, and
Mm,
that's been very fulfilling. And I also reached another benchmark that I set for myself. Like I have a band now, which is
come on,
it honestly still blows my mind. So
come
I
on. That's
have
a
access to real players and like samples that I can use and don't have to get cleared because these are just
right,
it's my family.
right.
So I think that's definitely how my shit has evolved is just implementing more live instrumentation. That's the biggest
That's
one.
that's cool to hear it come from like what you were saying, like the church background now to this is like
Hmm. But
that's
even
so fire.
dabbling in more dance music and like rock music, I feel like when I moved back to the city from college, like my homies, they was putting me onto shit that I might have missed, like schooling me to people like Man, like just real Detroit legends, like the techno and the house legends. So that started to spill over into my process too.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I think the there is something so true about getting to like the roots of where you're from musically, and it's it's such a like a funny process. I think because you then begin to hear so much outside of where you're from that kind of draws back to you. Um, and so kind of in the inverse, like I wanted to know, like you've been traveling a lot more, you've been taking in a lot of different sounds and spaces and people. Um, and so how does that feel to be able to, you know, as an artist is big to put out, but how does it feel to kind of have some time to like relax and just intake a lot?
Dog, it's actually mind blowing. Like I'm in Jamaica showing niggas my music and they actually fucking with it. Like
That's
it's crazy.
good.
Like a nigga messaged me talking to me about doing your deluxe, like love all the like 90s inspiration on there. I'm like,
Yeah,
damn, niggas really listen and like it definitely be fucking me up. Like I'm super grateful to be at a point where like if I put out some music, I know that there's niggas looking forward to hearing it. Shit that should mean a lot to me. I can't even front.
it's no, that's it's cool because I think knowing just from the conversation we had how much work you put into it is cool to hear. Like you said, other people are appreciating it. I think even from the artwork perspective, like the visuals that you put on, like where in your process does that come in?
I gotta I gotta give that one up to Zig. I can't even lie.
Got you.
Ziggy Waters, our
Yeah,
first album that we did, just Dooney Tunes. She taught me how important the visual side
yeah,
of it is, like having like a a lyric poster or something like that, or just having an animation to pair with the song, good quality cover art, cute little music videos with the subtitles and all that. So she exposed my eye to that for sure, and the people around me. I'm surrounded by a bunch of like multimedia artists. So yeah, just I feel like my visual taste has grown a lot, and I even started putting my hand in it a little bit, like doing a little video work, doing a little photo
right,
stuff. So
right.
yeah, I'm happy I could expand as well.
Yeah, yeah. Always like, yeah, from what I'm getting from this conversation, just I think it's really important. I think as a creative and as a person generally, just to be so open to learning new things and not feeling like you were saying, like that I have to be the best at it, but still having a healthy level of competitiveness. So you're like, I'm not about to not take up the space that I need to, which is like so interesting. I think recently listening to a lot of old music that I've made is it's been really funny to hear where I was at the time. I think in ways that other people might not pick up on. Just like, okay, how did I say this word? Why was I chopping my sample like that in different ways? So I want to know for you, out of all the projects that you've put out and all the songs that you've been a part of, are there any of them that when you listen to them again kind of just transport you back to like either the moment you're recording it or the headspace you were in?
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of the newer joints that's been coming out, like I produced the intro of my friend's album. His name is B Cording. We got a song called Life Hack. And making that song with him, like it was our first time meeting, and that was just another one of them like seamless workflows. And he does vocals and produce, and I love when I get in with people like that because I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, I know this. Like just when the flavors start to blend and twist, I'm
exactly.
like, yeah, we
Yeah,
got something special.
yeah,
Like I said, a lot of the new joints, that one, I put out this song called Protons with my homie Osiris. He puts out music under Vanity, and that's that more like kind of ambient house kind of track. And that was another one where we just pulling up a sound. Oh, that sound good. Put that down immediately and just bouncing around. And then the Scoob album for sure. I can remember a lot of the sessions, like
yeah,
when the songs were made.
yeah. It's like a that project, man. It's a different energy because I love when I hear people having fun on a song, and especially from the production standpoint, like you slowing things down, you speed them up. I'm like, this is not like a boring session at all. Like I know y'all was like just having the best time in there. Um, so like, what does a typical session for you look like? Like, is it just trying to keep the energy of whatever is happening, or are you like we got to get to work, we got to pump out da 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 da?
So I feel like when it's first starting, it is on some like we got to get to work. I'm not trying to waste this nigga time. But as the friendship develop, niggas is just kicking it. We going out, we going shopping, like we going to get some food, we cooking together, like we do shit. We hooping together. We walking up to the stove. Like this shit is regular. So yeah, I'll say sometimes I'll have an idea or sometimes I'll have a complete beat already, and I'm like, I don't fuck with this one, and usually they do. But Scoob definitely pushed me into the process of making something and scratch in front of him, and that's how
Yeah,
we got the song "Slip and Slide," which is
yeah,
actually one of my favorites on the album. He was like, "Come
yeah.
on, just make me something new," and it actually worked out. We actually got a video for that coming out pretty soon.
Where? So did you mentioned that just now? You saying you weren't making stuff in person before in the sessions? Like, was that not a part of how you worked before?
Yeah, because sometimes, bro, like I don't know, I'm like fake shy, and and really with my process, I like to experiment. So
Yeah.
this shit might sound really bad before it gets good. I ain't gonna lie,
Right.
like that be happening with me, but that's how
That's
that's how
real. That's real, bro. During the pandemic, when I was like trying to keep myself not bored, man, I was making beats on live, and I would be thinking sometimes like, man, this sounds real bad right now. Cause sometimes, sometimes it takes you gotta make the beat, just have it sit there, and then like you come back, speed it up, like okay, now I get it. Now we can do something. But you're right. Like when there's people just post up in the back, just like I ain't know about this. Like hold on, guys, we got to get to the end of this song, and then this little 1 minute in there is gonna be the thing that makes it happen. But no, that's real. I haven't really been able to do a lot of session work, and I think anytime we've spoken, I've just always been curious about that. But it's really cool again to kind of see personalities come out and see different moments. You're saying like y'all cooking and playing ball and different stuff. Like I think that feels so much more organic because, like I said, that you can just feel it in the music that there is something more than just this is a contractual agreement that we got to get these beats off and do all these things. So um,
Yeah, that's damn near my favorite part of like collaborating. Like
yeah,
obviously I love the songs and stuff, but that memory is what I cherish the most. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, yeah. Oh man, that's beautiful. It's like it's such a it's such an interesting time in music. I think, um, and I think there's so much music coming out. Like genuinely, there's like so much good music coming out, and I want to know for you, like outside of your really close collaborators, is there anybody that you've been following or that you want to work with that you just can't stop listening to? Like, I want to know maybe a little some people you was hiding in the cut in the bag. You got to keep that secret stash. Like, who have you been listening to recently?
Mm, I ain't gonna lie. I've been dabbling in the Milwaukee rap. I like Chicken P a lot. Chicken P been in heavy rotation. I can't even cap. But other than that, I do listen to a lot of local music and my friends though. That's a fact. But someone that someone that I'm fucking with recently is I might mispronounce his name, but Igwe Aka. It's spelled
Yeah,
Igweaka. His shit is really smooth. I like him. And I'm fucking with Falaman, Falamoun, another
yeah,
artist that's like self produced, does his own vocals, engineers himself. That's someone I've been rocking with. And if I could shout out just some local people,
for sure.
I'm fucking with Chase Plato a lot and High Tech, of course.
Fire,
High Tech got
fire,
shit
fire.
smoking out here. Oh, El Custo.
Oh yeah,
El
I,
Custo.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
had to put that out there.
So shout out for that. Let me let y'all know real quick. Yeah. Is there anything that you don't like when you hear music that kind of maybe like, okay, cool, I'm good off this? Like, are there
Mm,
any? Because I feel like that's always interesting to hear from people, especially people who make music. Like, what little things just like, okay, I don't need to intake this.
yeah. I always say like I'm an open book, but the two genres that I don't really listen to or even try to make is EDM and country. Like just not my bag. I would make a country song though with the right person. And there's
Yeah,
like two country songs that I do fuck with, but the EDM, that shit dead. I ain't doing that. I'm not. It's too much going on. Y'all can give me a fucking aneurysm.
but I got the music and the lights at the same time, bro. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Okay, got all that.
That's
They,
funny.
they be saying it's different if you experience it in a live setting, but I don't know. The Molly days is behind me. I'm
Yeah,
not.
it's real. That's real loud. Yeah, everybody going like this in front of your
Mm,
face and stuff. I'm like, yeah, keep that. Nah, man, that's so funny. There's so much like respect I have for you and your process, and truly just how you carry yourself as a person. I think, for me, I'm curious, like when you were just starting and you were just initially wanting to do something in music, how do you think that person compares to where you're at now?
oh wow, he would be very proud and impressed.
Where
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm definitely making my old self proud.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's fire. That's fire, man.
Yeah,
That's
I'm definitely like, I think as your taste expands, you just naturally get better because you start trying different things. And yeah, I always got to give high praise to my friends because without them, I wouldn't be making the shit I am. Like they definitely push me to get better because like I don't want to be no slouch. You know what I mean? Like I'm not
right, right.
gonna be the weak link, so
Yeah,
make me stay on my game.
that's real. That's real, man. Yeah, it's like it is such a privilege, such a blessing to be surrounded by people who are creative. I think recently, just even taking some cues from our conversations, just trying to really not try to force it. Not try to get around somebody and be like, okay, I need to use what you got and do this thing and do that thing. I think it's so important to lead with that wanting to learn and wanting to be a part of just the energy of creativity. And I think it's just so beautiful, even when people who I haven't got the privilege of meeting in person or just whatever, just to be able to keep track with different people and different placements, bro. Like any of the old producers from SoundCloud days, man. Anytime they get any type of placement, I'm just like, yes, like, this
Mhm.
is this is for us. Like this is for everybody.
Uh, Shout out Argo. He been putting on, bro. Shout out that man. That's He's still one of my favorites.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, like, bruh, Overcast, Poor Vita. Like, there's been so many people. I'm just like,
Hey,
man,
me and Porvita got big slaps on the way. I ain't even gonna hold you, bro. Like this shit getting wicked. Like I'm super
that's what I like to
excited for
hear.
y'all to hear that.
This is exact. Wow. Nah,
I do
I ain't
want
even.
to real briefly. I want to touch back on the like being surrounded by people. I remember when I was in college. Like I'm a big fan of Smino or whatever. Still am, and back then was. And I was watching one of his documentaries, and he from St. Louis, but he moved to Chicago, and he was talking about like that's when he found his tribe. So when I was in college, I felt very isolated and like sometimes lonely. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I know when I find the right people, that's just going to elevate my shit. And I definitely found my tribe, and this is playing out just how I want it to.
Yeah, man. That's beautiful, man. Like very, very honestly, like this. It's so cool to hear that. So cool to see it through the art that you make. It's one thing to be like, I'm doing things. It's another thing to be like, okay, cool. Like I'm putting things in motion. Um, and I think to close out this conversation, I just want to know what behind the scenes, like how are you intentional with not just creating well, but also like living well for yourself, just existing well? Because I know that's something that's talked about a lot, but it's just really important to kind of connect back to that. So how do you position yourself up for success, just in a personal way?
Yeah, no, I love this question because people often ask me, like, what inspires me? How do I get inspired? Yada, yada. But honestly, bro, like, life simply inspires me. Like, if I have a good day, I'm ready to create. Like, if I go shopping, have a nice meal, that got me ready to create. So, yeah, really just taking care of myself, like my body and my mind, like meditating every day, making sure I stretch, get some sunlight, eat a fucking apple, nigga. Like, I'm really an apple a day ass nigga.
Bro, you mean an apple with peanut butter?
Yes, come on, bro.
Apple with peanut butter get me right, man.
But no, just tapping back in with my folks, like making sure I
Man,
call my sisters, kick it with my nephews, stay in touch with old friends, even though I have this new beautiful batch of friends. Like, definitely gotta stay attached to the lineage. 'Cause I know they still got the pure love for me, and I'll be needing that. Because you can get so caught up in like, how can I advance? What more can I be doing? But sometimes you just gotta sit back and like soak this shit in.
yeah, just be able to let it wash over you.
Yeah, let it
Just
linger.
yeah.
Ain't letting it linger.
Yeah, man. Like, yeah, I think too often people try to just like move on the first side of action. Like, okay, cool, we got this. Boom. All right, I'm off. I'm doing that. Da, da, da. But yeah, it's like really when you really get to understand things and just like get to look at it, which is such a privilege in itself to just be able to look at something from like a little bit of distance is just crazy what you will see, man. But yeah, I have one more question. I can't stop this without asking this because you do so many things. And I very selfishly want to know how you balance all these creative ideas because like it's crazy to listen to this project and just hear how many sounds that you juggle but then make sound cohesive. It's like there's a few songs where you're doing one thing and then the next section of the song is totally different with the same thing happening. So it's like when you're able to do that and like you said, balance the personal life and every other thing, like how do you set up your creative process for success and still be able to do so many things inside of that?
Yeah, my homegirl was telling me that I have like good time management. Like I'm good at giving myself and specifically my ears a break. Like I think sometimes you
Mm,
just step away because you can really start to bury the sound and make the shit sound worse. Like so, I think I have a good process where sometimes, like if I know I have something special, I'll take it as far as I can in that first session. Then I might not listen to it again for 2 weeks. And then when I come back after that 2 weeks, I got fresh ears and I can immediately dial in and like execute what needs to be done rather than confusing myself. Like,
yeah, that makes sense. Again, just giving the time. I mean, that's funny.
yeah, you got to give
Yeah,
your ears a break, bro.
yeah, yeah. It's super interesting now. I think with the show specifically, with the network as a whole, I think now a part of it is listening so much, and I think it has affected the like push to then make music sometimes, which has then pushed me to like write more or be like, okay, cool, I want to maybe get on something that I don't have anything to do with production wise, because that's like my safe haven. That's like the place that I'm like, okay, I could do damage in this space, but um, again, just being like, okay, I gotta try and challenge myself and kind of get out of my bubble and make sure that yeah, just have it, just making it balanced, making sure I'm not doing too much in any sense of the word, just so I can present that final product in a very authentic way. Um,
So
but
shit,
yeah,
have you been on the mic lately? You still been producing?
I still been producing. I put out like a couple of the old joints, like I was saying. I got a lot of stuff because like I got in a relationship with somebody who makes a lot of music, so it was the first time that it was kind of just also up in front of me and all the stuff she was making. So uh, yeah, I've been making a lot more beats recently, and I told somebody I'm trying to do a project with them, one of the homies out here, but again, it's like finding time to really like be like I'm like I want to do this, but I also want to see you in person because again, like I'm just so used to doing it, sending out the pack and being like, okay, cool, do your thing, and then maybe hearing back, maybe not. But I think it's a different thing to, like you said, give yourself to a situation and kind of really show up for that. And I think that's something I haven't done before. Um, so I'm really, really excited to see where that goes, and if that means more of the raps, that's blessed, getting some of the singing out. There's a lot of stuff I haven't done in a long time, so I'm
Yeah,
excited to see
I
how it
like
kind
when
of.
you get singing. That's a nice bag. I ain't gonna cap.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, that's the dusty one. Ain't nobody seen that one in a minute, but that's the church kid covered out, So, but yeah, it's been so funny making music again because I think even inside of like knowing how I used to do things, like those things don't necessarily work anymore for me or like feel exciting in the way they did before. And I think it's just good because it's like you need to change. Like you just need to find another way to get the idea out and really support it. And I think um it's been really good to listen to a lot of the old stuff, just like the voice memos, the stuff that's not even a full idea, just the stuff from the old computer and the hard drive. It's like, okay, cool. Like there's a lot of really good ideas, but it's like you said, it's like I don't need to make that anymore. Like like that don't really serve me right now. So
That's the most
yeah,
important important part of art is getting it off. Like, it don't
Yeah.
even matter if no one hears it. Like, as long as I did it, I feel
Right.
much better immediately.
Yeah, it's like a muscle. I think if you don't use it, it kind of goes, and you still think about, oh, back in the day, I used to be able to do this and that. It's like, okay, cool, but like now that you're here, what is it, And again, it's good to have people like yourself and and other people in my life that are just like, okay, send me a beat, please. Like, not even on no friendly nothing. It's like, I need a beat. I don't care what it is. If it's bad, that's okay. Send me a beat. So then I
Yeah.
gotta be like, all right, you're right. You're right. Let me get my thing open, bro. Okay. And get to it. But yeah, I think especially when you're doing so many other things creatively, like there's a love, there's such a reverence for music. And I think sometimes that might cause me pause when I'm like, okay, I don't want to give it something that I don't have right now. Um, but I think also it's like a relationship, so you got to give it time. You can't just pull out the relationship because I don't got it today. It's like, okay, cool, we gotta communicate that, but then figure it out because we still together, kind of thing. So, um, yeah, it's just been cool. I think especially with this platform, be able to talk to a lot of people and just have conversation like this, because like that's the part. Very selfishly, that's my favorite part of this, man. Like, just to
Yeah, I
have
know
just,
you a real yapper. I'm already knowing.
hey man, oh, but I love just talking about the process. It's just so good. And, it's just like it's hard, sometimes with, especially on the internet, you meet people in different places. You can't really sit down to do a thing. So I'm like, all right, cool. We got this thing. Could put it on my YouTube. You feel me? We could, it could work out for everybody, type of thing. But nah, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for doing you. Check out the Love at First Sight project. It is amazing. I guarantee that you're gonna find a bunch of slaps. Ain't nothing on there that miss, man. Like genuinely, it's a really good project.
Looking,
But yeah,
bro.
you got anything to say to the people before you go?
Man, it's gonna be a lot of different flavors coming out this year. Like, that's how I try to go about my releases. I never want the song I put out to sound like the last shit I did. So definitely a lot more in store.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Hope you enjoyed. Whether it's day, night, or evening, whatever you're doing, stop procrastinating. Go get after your dreams. They're waiting for you. Peace, peace, peace.
Peace.